How do you get ready for something that is always in motion? Something that is always changing. You prepare for it today and you think you're ready, and it springs up a surprise. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything. Wherever you are on the surface of the earth, around the earth, wherever you are, seeing me and listening to me at this very instant. How are you? Welcome to the Word Cafe live show. It's always exciting for me to be here, to come in and, you know how we say it. This is that space where we come in to lean on one another's experience to forge a positive path. I had to begin with that because sometimes you think you're ready for something and it springs up this surprise. And sometimes you're not ready for it. It springs up yet another surprise, and you just have to go with the flow. You go with the moment. You were born ready. Before I came on, I was muttering these words to myself. How do we change the world? How do we bring about change, positive change? And I just muttered those words out, one word at a time. The world was spoken into being by a word, or the word. So we can change the world by our words. And that is the anchor of the Word Cafe podcast. I believe in the power of words. Why? Because it is the unit of creation. I trade in words to profit my word. I say this consciously because that's what it is all about. But that's not why we're here. That's not the episode. But I needed to say this for you to know. Talk, they say, is cheap. But cheap things change the world somehow. When you take away what I call it, the facade, you take the veil, you come to see the value in what you have presented. So what are we going to be doing today? How do you conceptualize reality? What do you call reality? You know, our human experience in so many ways have come to give us what we'll call reality. How we see matter because of time and space, and how we interpret the world from our maybe internal experience or external experience. That's what I want to talk about today. The reality behind or beyond the physicality. Now, let me pose this question. If you were given the responsibility to father, to midwife a process, midwife a concept, midwife an idea that will become a definitive one that will define so many things, how would you approach it? Tell me. How would you? So I saw the scripture where Paul said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Clearly, Paul was given this mandate, to midwife an activity, to midwife a process. In course of his journey, he made that statement, we wrestle not. In other words, there's a lot of wrestling, a lot of fighting that will take place in actualizing a true vision. But look at what he said. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. So beyond our biology, beyond our physicality, beyond what we think is material, there is something that we need to, would I say, rise up against. And he said, we wrestle not against flesh, blood, but against principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness in high places. So he went on to give like what we actually wrestle against, what we are up against beyond our biology. He now classified it. His classification was so vivid, like principalities, powers, then spiritual wickedness. He went on to further define that and said, in high places. So there's something we fight against. There is a fight, an ongoing fight. And that fight is real. And that reality somewhat defines the physicality. So you winning or conquering, or should I say defeating that, brings your authority and establishes the reality. He went on to describe it that, okay, yes, there's a fight. Follow my thought. There's a fight. When you're fighting, you need weapons. He said, no, the weapons with which we fight, they are not carnal. Like, they're not the materials of the physical world. He went on to state it also. He now gave it a quality. He said, they are mighty through God. So he's acknowledging a force, a power that supersedes all. And on the strength of that knowledge, we'll fight. Okay. Am I getting you confused now? Follow. The story of Jacob is one that, in my opinion, gives a good picture to this reality. So Jacob wakes up one morning, receives the blessing from his father. That's another story for another day, that he receives this blessing from his father. People call him the supplanter. But there's a reality. He needs to continue. He needs to take it from where his father Isaac, continue from where his grandfather. He runs with this. We know the story of Jacob on his way to establishing this reality. He encounters a place called Bethel. He was sleeping, and he said, as it was recorded, he saw the heavens, a stairway. He saw angels. Now look at how he describes it. He didn't say ascending and descending. Or he didn't say descending and ascending. He said he saw angels, what? Ascending and descending. You will expect angels to come down and go up. No, he said they were going up and they were coming down. More or less a reality of a flow, a power source, what we're going to call a portal. But on top of the ladder, he said he saw. He didn't really see, but he could see, if you understand what I mean by that, the head of this reality. And he said, this is the house of God, and I knew it not. He called it Bethel, and he anointed. Follow my thoughts. On his journey, he became mighty. His experience, he saw beyond the veil. He saw beyond the physicality. He saw beyond time and space. But he had to bring what he saw into this dimension and fasten it. We wrestle not. It was time for him to go. Rachel, Leah's story, which we know, became large. His experience of genetics, engineering, how he grew his father-in-law's heads. And from that, from nothing, he grew his own reality. It was time for him to go back. He told his father-in-law, I have to leave. Now, when he was going, because there's this reality he needs to establish. He had to. The blessing. You remember what he told his grandfather when his grandfather had the encounter with God? I will make you. I will bless you, and through you. So there's a reality I want to establish through you, but there's a fight also. Now, when he was going, Jacob, his name was Jacob in all of this experience. He got to that place where his brother was coming, and he was afraid. There's a reality facing me now that I need to confront, that I need to establish my reality. Long story short, he split his family and he went on the other side. He told them, you go ahead, I'm coming. And the way the scripture records this is that he went, stayed there, that he had an encounter. Remember, he had an encounter, the beginning of enforcing this reality. He saw the heavens open, angels ascending and descending. But this time, it's the scripture records that, and Jacob wrestled with a man from God. Now, let's look at it. He wrestled. We wrestle not. You remember? Against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness in high places. Jacob wrestled with a man, not a man of God, not an angel, but a man from God. You know, when you talk about wrestling, it's a close contact game, skin to skin, hand to hand. It's like a hand combat. You roll on the floor, all muddled up. And Jacob wrestled with this man. And the man saw that the man was coming. This guy will keep me here. And it records that I will not let you go until this reality is formed. That's until you bless me. He held him so strong. Imagine mortality holding on to divinity. I won't let you go. And he turned and asked him, what is your name? He said, Jacob. He said, okay, from this day forward, you shall be called Israel. Israel means the Prince of God. You have fought with divinity and you won. He touched his ankle, dislocated it as a sign. Prince, we wrestle not. For there to be a prince, it means there is a principality. There is an authority to be established. So he was Jacob, but now a prince with God called Israel. So he's now a prince. So in the cosmos, in the world beyond biology and chemistry and all of that, they now know there is a new kid on the block. There is a prince that has been established. His name is Israel. That word is the prince, El. Now, when you look at the angelic order, they all end with the word El. Mike El. Gabe El. Even Lucifer had El in his name. The morning star. Read the scriptures, you will see it. So, Israel, the prince. So there's a reality. And Jacob established it. From Abraham, it was Abraham. It went to Isaac. It came to Jacob. It changed to Israel. And the tribes came into being. The reality. I'm going to read something for you, just to buttress our reality. Now, it's from the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 10, verse 13. He said, "But the prince of the king of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the king of Persia." Did you hear that? This was Gabriel talking to Daniel. When Daniel started his prayer, the fast of Daniel, after when he read the book of, I think that was Zechariah the prophet, or no, Jeremiah, beg your pardon, about how Israel would be in slavery and all of that. A reality that disturbed him. And he said, this is not our reality. And this happened to him. He said, I was praying. The angel told him that when you started praying, I had the release from headquarters to come to you. That's Gabriel. He said, but as I was coming, I was withstood by the prince of Persia, a principality, who stood against Israel, another principality. But headquarters was on the side of Israel, so I came. But according to the protocol of the cosmos and divinity, I could not go beyond this. And I had to call for backup. I called for the chief of the princes, Michael. And I'm here to deliver this message to you. But you know what he now said? If you go further to read, he said, I'm going back to encounter that being, that prince, and we're going to fight. Now let me read out something for you. The prince of the kingdom, perhaps no single verse in the whole of the scriptures speaks more clearly than this upon the invisible powers which rule and influence nations. If we were without a revelation, we should have thought it as incongruent that God himself should direct all events in the world without using any intervening means. But revelation points out that as spiritual beings carry out God's purpose in the natural world, there are a lot of references, and in this moral world, so also they do in the political world. From this chapter, we not only learn that Israel had a spiritual champion, as we see there, to protect her in her national life and to watch over her interest, but also that the powers opposed to Israel had their princes or saviors, which were antagonistics of those which watched over Israel, the princes of the heathen powers. So most of the things we see, the realities we see around us, are the effect of princes. You heard that? Political, economical. So there comes a time as a child of God, as a human being born of God, that we need to enforce our reality. Just like Paul said, we wrestle not. That there's a wrestling going on. There's a fight. You may say, well, what has that got to do with me? It's not my fight. Hello, it's your fight. But do you know the good thing about this? We are fighting from the point of victory. So we need to enforce our reality. Yes, we need to. We need to. We need to. I repeat it because as a people, as a Nigerian who lives in Nigeria, I see that a lot of us are fighting battles from a shallow knowledge. Very shallow. And some of us are fighting from the point of skewed knowledge and ungodly knowledge. But listen, this is what I came to do on the show today, to remind you or to call your attention to the prince that you are. So why do you say I'm a prince? Because the Prince of Peace lives in you. And he's on your side. He's on our side. So we take sides with him to enforce our reality, to bring our reality to this dimension. Because listen, there is a fight going on. There is. And that is what I came to do, to express it today to you. Yes. It's not a surface thing. It's beyond the surface. It's beyond the biology. It's beyond the chemistry. It's beyond the physics. So wherever you are in that, what I call it, space, in that industry, there is a fight going on. There is a fight. But listen, we have the victory. Just as Jacob said to him, I will not let you go. And when he held unto him, and the man from God responded to him, you are now a prince. So it means wherever the word of the king is, there is power. For there to be a prince, there is a king, and there is a kingdom, and there is an enforcement. You are the crown prince. The signet ring is with you. So now go and rule amongst your enemies. So don't be afraid. We will win, or we have won, but we need to rule amongst our enemies. Have you been fighting with that thought in your space? Have you been fighting with that, what I call it, idea, the concept? You've been having this kind of brain fog, or whatever you want to call it, trying to put it down. There's a fight. So what do? Fight like the prince would fight. Hold is a combat. Don't let go. No, I didn't say you should hold the enemy. No. Hold onto the man from God. The man. Do you know the man from God? His name is Jesus. He's the man from God. That was who Jacob saw He's the man from God. He's not a man of God. No, man from God. Whew. That's what I came to do. That's what I came to do. I shared this with my wife before coming. I always share things like that, like this with her. And she was just like, you have started again with this, your thinking. I said, well, it's not my fault. So, I hope this has blessed you as it has blessed me. All right, guys, I need to run now. You know, sometimes you need to know when the word for the R has stopped, so you don't push it beyond that, so that you don't speak emptiness. I know it has stopped. Yeah, I know. So I got to stop now too. But thank you. Part of why we are here, why we do what we do, is because you're there. And we believe God strongly that these words will reach who it is meant for. It will cause that awakening, and you wake up to that reality and your responsibility, and you take your place, establishing His will on earth as it is in heaven. We are available on all our social media, on all the social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, what else? X, LinkedIn. We have a YouTube channel. Have you subscribed to our channel? Please do. Hit that notification button so that when episodes like this drop, you'll be the first to know. It has always been our pleasure coming in here to share moments like this with you. And I have to go now, to go prepare for yet another amazing episode. Yes, this is the space where we come in to lean on one another's experience to forge a positive path. Till I come your way again, my name is Amachree. Amachree Isoboye. Bye for now.